All right, and welcome everyone to this awards presentation. This is for S15 last season, so all the stats, which actually, if I was smart, I would, if I was smart, I'd pull them up here. I'll do that. I have the screen. But yeah, we have some hardware going home to a lot of different players today. Wait for some more people to jump in the stream here. And then right after this, we're going to have our S16 draft. So a lot going on today. I guess it's been a week since I've or so since I've last streamed here. So time to break the gap. So how this works is all the GMs and head office members vote for different players in specific awards categories, and we've got a bunch of them. Basically, each position has a category. There is rookie, offensive rookie, defensive rookie, offensive player, defensive player, most improved player, and MVP. So it's going to be a very yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of different names, but a lot of the same names. It's going to be a good um, little award session here. So let's jump into it, as we've got a handful of people watching, it seems. We're going to start out with quarterback of the year, field general. And so in this award category, we've had a few people get votes, and those receiving votes were Anton Grimes of the Roswell Aliens, who just retired this past season and recreated, I think, his players in the upcoming draft here. So great season from Grimes, second in QB rating, um, and had 44 touchdowns, the fewest interceptions of any quarterback in the league. Great season to go out on for Grimes. I think just disappointed they couldn't cap it off with a super casual bowl. Also receiving votes is Jerry Riggs, who had a great season, 46 touchdowns, tied for second in the league, and the third highest quarterback rating in the league. So had the second highest passing yards as well. So great job for Riggs this season. But the ultimate winner of quarterback of the year is going to go to Fred Ucker of the Las Vegas Venom, who had a monstrous season, was probably head and shoulders above everyone else in the league. Had the highest completion percentage in the league, most yards in the league, most passing touchdowns by 12, and the highest quarterback rating. So Fred Ucker led one of the best offenses in the league this season, and he takes home quarterback of the year. So we're moving on to running back now, and running back is a bit can be a bit susceptible to different interpretations. How much do you value purely running the ball versus both running and catching the ball? Um, so we'll see how the votes shake out here for running back of the year. And I actually think we only had a couple different players selected, so not much diversity. Let me on the right screen. There we go. So receiving votes for running back of the year, we had Lucas Peterson, who was just 3 yards short of 1,000 yards this season. We had no 1,000-yard rusher this season, which is surprising. But then again, we had maybe some of the most parity and challenging season, as far as it just wasn't offense galore. There was a lot of good defenses in the league this season, so rushing yards were sometimes tough to come by. And then your winner, who was the only other running back receiving votes, goes to another Las Vegas Venom player in Meno Rahe. Rahe had an excellent season coming over from Mexico City in S14. S15 was his first season in Las Vegas. 800 or 690 yards rushing, 10 touchdowns, most in the league, highest yard per carry average in the league, and also had great receiving numbers as well. I can, yeah, Venom. I get the feeling are gonna have some hardware here. Um, Now they just need to string it together to get the super casual bowl. But yeah, where's Rahe? Can't even find him on my receiving stats. Oh, there he is. So yeah, and then Rahe had over 1,000 all-purpose yards if you include his receiving, 430 yards almost receiving, and 4 touchdowns. So great season from Meno Rahe, and he takes home running back of the year. Next, we'll go on to fullback of the year. Not a lot of teams run fullbacks, so we only got a couple eligible players really. So receiving votes for fullback of the year, Uter Lighthorn of the Madagascar Hammerheads, who had some great games receiving out of the backfield, um, but didn't do much running the ball. Also receiving votes was Kylie Rahe of the Vancouver Victorious Lions, the inverse of the Las Vegas Venom. Vancouver Victorious Lions fullback Kylie Rahe had a rushing touchdown on the ground and then was an effective receiver, almost 250 yards and a touchdown. But ultimately, your fullback of the year winner will go to Salami Lid of the Roswell Aliens. Salami Lid had a great season, catching out of the fullback position, 5 touchdowns, 356 yards receiving. Pro Bowl running back, really did, did better than some tight ends and receivers this season out of the fullback position. Did not get a rushing touchdown, but was just excellent all around. So congratulations, Salami Lid and the Roswell Aliens for fullback of the year. Laser was good. You just missed Rahe and Ucker getting quarterback and running back of the year. So we move on to wide receiver of the year. And this, I thought was going to be a very, very heated battle. Instead, it's there was only two people receiving votes, two players receiving votes. So who will they be? It was very tight at the top for the receiving class. There was probably about 4 or 5 people that could make a very good case for receiver of the year. And so we have receiving votes. Caleb Boateng of the Reykjavik Frost Giants. Now, this player could have easily have won it. Had one of the highest yard per catch averages in the league. I think the highest actually. 17 touchdowns, 1,640 yards. Great season from Caleb Boateng. But the ultimate winner, because there were only different people who were voted on, Colt Remington Wellington of the Las Vegas Venom, now CRW as we call him in the booth. He had over 1,500 receiving yards, but the thing that probably separated him from the pack was the 23 receiving touchdowns, which was head and shoulders above everyone in the league. Also had a very good yard after catch mark as well, most yards after the catch, so able to extend the play. So pretty good catch percentage as well. Didn't drop a lot of passes. Of the top receivers, had one of the best catch percentages. So yeah, great season from Colt Remington Wellington, who, as we know, is on the chase to catch William Slayton. Last season was a good step in that direction. See if he can keep it up in S16. Now we move on to tight end of the year. And although I think we've seen some Las Vegas Venom here, we're going to see some different names on this one. Receiving votes, we only had 2 players. Again, it was Billy Bob Booker Thompson of the Reykjavik Frost Giants, who had an excellent season, 7 touchdowns, 941 yards, a 20-yard per catch average. But it's ultimately going to go to Jason Grayson of the Vancouver Victorious Lions. He was the only true tight end to be over the 1,000-yard marker this season. So Jason Grayson finishing off the season with 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns, and did not drop a lot of passes either. Only 6 drops, one of the best catch percentages in the league with a minimum of, say, 40, 50 targets. So excellent excellent, sure-handed Jason Grayson making big plays this season, and yeah, he's going to walk away with some hardware. Now we move on to offensive line of the year, and this was a very uh, split vote here, as we had a lot of great offensive lines. We're going to get right into it here, as Nathan Smallwood of the Vancouver Victorious Lions was receiving votes, led up the fewest amount of sacks actually this season. Sixto Lazen getting votes, the rookie offensive lineman for the Madagascar Hammerheads, had a good season, tied for second fewest sacks allowed. And then Hippopo Thomas of the Fort Lauderdale Flamingos getting some votes, tied with Lazen for sacks allowed. But ultimately, your winner of Offensive Lineman of the Year goes to Dermontti Webster, who did not allow the least amount of sacks, but was the least penalized offensive lineman and definitely paved the way for one of the best uh, offensive teams in the league. So congratulations to Dermontti Webster and the Las Vegas Venom um, winning Offensive Line of the Year. Now we're going to switch over to the Defensive Line of the Year. And got a few people in contention here receiving votes. Michael Dreyfus of the Las Vegas Venom, who had a pretty solid season, 8 sacks, I want to say. Somewhere there, maybe 10. Why can't I find Dreyfus? Yeah, 10 sacks, 10 tackles for loss. Great season for Michael Dreyfus, who I believe was the Defensive Line of the Year last season. Commander Fluffy of the Reykjavik Frost Giants having a good season, getting some recognition here. Finished off the season with 8 sacks, somewhere in there. Yeah, 8 sacks, 9 TFLs, couple forced fumbles. Great season from Commander Fluffy. But your winner of Defensive Line of the Year is going to go to Wilfrith of Langwald, son of Ekrik the Collier of the Denver Dragons. First time the Dragons have popped up on this award ceremony. Wilfrith of Langwald, son of Ekrik the Collier, had 12 sacks, which was um, in the league, or led the league by 2, and is ultimately going to get the DL of the year. Had an interception as well on the defensive line, a forced fumble, forced recovery. So good season from Wilfrith of Langwald, son of Ekrik the Collier. He comes home with the Defensive Line of the Year trophy. Linebacker of the Year. We've got some diverse votes here as well. Receiving votes is Providence C. Rab of the Vancouver Victorious Lions. First season for Rab in a Lions jersey, getting some recognition here. I think Providence C. Lab actually led the league in deflections. Fun fact. Archie Swift had a great season for the Fort Lauderdale Flamingos. Getting some votes here. Swift. But yeah, Archie Swift is escaping me on the sheet. But yeah, 12 TFLs, a couple interceptions, well-rounded season for Archie Swift. Michael Dion of the Mexico City Silver Eagles, I believe, led all linebackers in interceptions with 5. I want to say 4 interceptions for Dion, so was the second most of any linebacker. So great season from Michael Dion. But your winner, linebacker of the year, is going to go to Tom Krieg, the legend there down in Madagascar. 57 tackles, 16 TFLs, a forced fumbles, some deflections. He was all over the ground game. Basically, it was very difficult to run on Krieg and the Hammerheads all season, and he was a surefire tackler. So he comes home with the Linebacker of the Year trophy. Now we move on to Defensive Back of the Year. We've got some interesting ones here. So let's get into it. Receiving votes is rookie Dayton Sack, who for a lot of the season was the league leader in interceptions, but ended up with 6, which was third. I don't think it was tied. I think it was outright third. So yeah, third most interceptions in the league. So great season from Dayton Sack, especially from a rookie. Also receiving votes from the Frost Giants, Udo Kira Cloudera, tied for the league lead in interceptions. Great season from Cloudera, a bunch of tackles, a bunch of deflections. Well done by Udo Kira Cloudera. Rafael Vasquez of the Fort Lauderdale Flamingos had 5 interceptions, had a defensive touchdown. I can't remember if that was, I think that was a pick 6 as well. A ton of deflections. I think the top 5 for deflections. So well done by Rafael Vasquez. But your final winner of Defensive Back of the Year is going to go to Daddy Longlegs of the Roswell Aliens. Now, Longlegs had an outstanding season, 7 interceptions, a forced fumble, a sack, a couple fumble recoveries, a touchdown, I think either off a fumble recovery or pick 6. I mean, absolutely filling out the stat column was Daddy Longlegs, and they rightfully come home with Defensive Back of the Year. Nicely done by Daddy Longlegs. We move on to the kicking now. So, one of the more underrated parts of the game, but just like any football game, field position is super important, so having a good kicker can really help with that. Receiving votes for Kicker of the Year is Oliver Davis of the Reykjavik Frost Giants. Also receiving votes was Kiki Nutzenkirchen of the Las Vegas Venom, 12 for 12 season. Most PATs in the league. And then tied for second most total points. And then also receiving votes, Caden Coleman of the Mexico City Silver Eagles had the most field goals made and most field goals attempted here this season. Nice season for Caden Coleman. But your final winner is Zuko Ito of the Vancouver Victorious Lions. 22 for 22 on the season. Not a single missed kick. 57 PATs, good for second most. So had the second most field goals made, second most PATs made, but a perfect kick percentage on the league. One of only 4 kickers to do it, and the most total points responsible for. Zuko Ito comes home with Kicker of the Year. Long-time Vancouver Victorious Lion. Now we go to Punter of the Year. So here we've got a few good candidates. Receiving votes for Punter of the Year, Zuko Ito, we just saw him for Kicker of the Year. Actually had the best inside 20 efficiency, meaning he made the most out of his possible chances he could have kicked it inside the 20. So almost surprised he didn't clean sweep it. But O'Deer receiving votes as well for Punter of the Year. I believe O'Deer has just retired. So see if Madagascar can find their next option at kicker punter. Caden Coleman of the Mexico City Silver Eagles getting some votes for Punter of the Year. But your final winner of our last position trophy is going to go to Pablo of the Fort Lauderdale Flamingos. Now, I believe the Flamingos are moving on from Pablo this season, but had a great season last season. The most punts inside the 20 in the league, but also the most touchbacks. So I guess take it both ways. Now we move on to our other rookies or other awards. These are Rookie of the Year on offensive and defensive side of the ball, offensive player, defensive player, most improved player, and MVP. So we got about a handful, 5 or 6 more awards to go. So let's get into it. Offensive Rookie of the Year. Receiving votes, Ben Bones of the Vancouver Victorious Lions, arguably the best rookie quarterback in the league. Getting some votes here for Rookie of the Year on the offensive side of the ball. Twerky McDingberry of the Mexico City Silver Eagles, the tight end, who didn't have a touchdown, only had 330 yards. Sixto Lazen of the Madagascar Hammerheads. I wonder how he got votes. Sixto Lazen of the Madagascar Hammerheads, who was in contention for Offensive Lineman of the Year, getting some votes for Rookie of the Year. But your final winner for Offensive Rookie of the Year will go to Oliver O'Connor, wide receiver of the Vancouver Victorious Lions. Was even in the conversation for wide receiver of the year, but is going to come away with Rookie of the Year. 19 touchdowns, almost 1,500 yards receiving, second highest yard per catch average, very good yard after the catch average as well. Just a great season for the rookie Oliver O'Connor. Congratulations to him and the Vancouver Victorious Lions. Defensive Rookie of the Year. So this one really only had a couple options here, and I think we maybe have seen one of the names already. So receiving votes was Brian Reddy, defensive lineman for the Roswell Aliens. They're always having their sneaky good defensive players, and Brian Reddy was a rookie this season who had a sack, a forced fumble, and a couple tackles, TFLs. So Ruddy getting some votes, but it was almost unanimously winning this was Dayton Sack of the Mexico City Silver Eagles, tied for third in the league in interceptions. Great season from Dayton Sack, and Sack will get the Defensive Rookie of the Year. Now we go into our Offensive and Defensive Player of the Year awards. These ones are very, very competitive. A lot of different ways it could go. A lot of split voting here. But ultimately, a winner had to be selected. So, receiving votes for Offensive Player of the Year, Meno Rahe of the Las Vegas Venom, we saw earlier, winning Running Back of the Year. Great season from Rahe with the 10 touchdowns, a couple receiving as well, and the highest. I mean, the man averaged 10 yards per carry, so just give it to him, and he's got the first down every time, almost. Anyway, so congratulations to Meno Rahe of the Las Vegas Venom for getting some votes. Colt Remington Wellington, who won Wide Receiver of the Year. So we got a couple Las Vegas Venom here for Offensive Player of the Year. Great season from CRW, as we mentioned before. League lead in receiving touchdowns, getting some votes. And then we have Jerry Riggs, quarterback of the Reykjavik Frost Giants, who did not get quarterback of the year, but was definitely receiving votes there. Great season for Riggs. Caleb Boateng, which I guess I spelled the name wrong. Kalb Boateng, wide receiver of the Reykjavik Frost Giants, league leader in receiving yards, 17 touchdowns, and great season from Kalb Boateng. It's Caleb, sorry, Caleb Boateng. But it all comes down to this: your actual winner. Nothing against all these players on the screen; all had great seasons and deserve to be on this list. But your final winner of Offensive Player of the Year is Fred Ucker, quarterback of the Las Vegas Venom. So Ucker with 2 awards here: QB and Offensive Player of the Year. And I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense. He's again 12 more touchdowns than the next highest quarterback, so a lot of offense from one player. Defensive Player of the Year. Now this one was a very contested one as well. A lot of votes, a lot of different ways to interpret it. Receiving votes: Udokura Cloudera, defensive back for the Reykjavik Frost Giants. Mentioned Cloudera and defensive back of the year. Providence C. Rab, linebacker for the Vancouver Victorious Lions, getting some award or some votes for the linebacker of the year. Commander Fluffy, defensive line for the Reykjavik Frost Giants, at about 8 sacks there. And then Tom Krieg, linebacker of the year winner for the Madagascar Hammerheads, getting some votes. But one more: Michael Dion, linebacker for the Mexico City Silver Eagles. So again, a lot of lot of split voting here for Defensive Player of the Year, but ultimately, your winner for Defensive Player of the Year is going to be Daddy Longlegs, defensive back of the Roswell Aliens. Congratulations to Longlegs on an excellent season in Roswell. I believe the former Denver Dragon in Roswell for the last season or two, taking home some hardware. Well done. So now we go on to most improved player, and I forgot to do this last season, so we are adding it in this season. Most improved player is going to have a few different voters. Receiving votes is Meno Rahe of the Las Vegas Venom, who had a great season this season, especially compared to the previous season in Mexico City. Caleb Boateng, who was spelled correctly there, receiving votes for the Reykjavik Frost Giants for Most Improved Player of the Year. Jerry Riggs, this is a funny one to me, because everyone thinks he's an MVP every season, but he's also the most improved player. So that's a funny one. Getting some votes. Boss James, wide receiver for the Fort Lauderdale Flamingos. Getting some most improved player votes. But, oh, sorry, I forgot we had another one. Chico Cortez of the Las Vegas Venom, who really turned it up. Really turned it up this season. Had over 1,000 yards after having a kind of a quiet season in S14. But your ultimate winner, and I think this makes sense here, Ayomide Ayadel, quarterback of the Madagascar Hammerheads, first season coming over from the Hollywood Knights. Big improvement in the Hammerheads uniform. Ayadel, just to highlight the stats, because we hadn't highlighted his stats compared to other players. I didn't realize that. Hold on. I didn't realize that the Chiron was cutting it off so much. Let me. There. Sorry. It's not really a Chiron, but anyway. You guys didn't tell me this stuff. Anyway, so Ayomide Ayadel with the most improved player of the year. Ayadel had 39 touchdowns, was fifth in the league in quarterback rating, and was a super great addition to the Hammerheads, who had some different quarterbacks. I think 4 different quarterbacks in the last 5 seasons. So hopefully finding some stability now at the QB position are the Hammerheads as they try to make more playoff pushes. So go on to our final award, Most Valuable Player MVP, the final award of the night. I know you guys have all been waiting for. Yeah, 16 won't be easy the way it's being done right now. So MVP receiving votes for Ayomide Ayadel, the Madagascar Hammerheads, who just won the Most Improved Player of the Year. Colt Remington Wellington, wide receiver of the Las Vegas Venom, wide receiver of the year. So we've got a lot of people with overlapping hardware. Jerry Riggs, quarterback for the Reykjavik Frost Giants, receiving some votes for the most valuable player of the year. But ultimately, who won it with the most amount of votes? Fred Ucker, quarterback of the Las Vegas Venom. The clean sweep for Fred Ucker, quarterback of the year, offensive player of the year, and MVP. I think you could make a case for a lot of different players for MVP, but tough to deny. Fred Ucker and his excellent season he had a great season last year as well, but was only overshadowed by an even better season from Oxlong. But Fred Ucker getting it done this season, despite maybe our toughest season yet defensively, where a lot of good teams out there had really good strong defenses. So anyway, that is going to conclude our awards. Just a quick overview of the awards recap here. I'm just gonna do this. Let's just do this for today. We'll just do that. All right, perfect. So quarterback Fred Ucker, running back Rahe, fullback Salami Lid, wide receiver Colt Remington Wellington, tight end Jason Grayson, offensive lineman. Devontae Webster, Wilfrith of Langwald, son of Ekrick the Collier, getting defensive line of the year. Linebacker Tom Krieg, defensive back Daddy Longlegs, Zuko Ito for kicker of the year, punter of the year Pablo, uh, Oliver O'Connor for offensive rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year Dayton Sack, offensive player of the year Fred Ucker, defensive player of the year Daddy Longlegs, most improved player Amity Ayadel, and MVP Fred Ucker. So that concludes our awards ceremony. And so now we are going to get into the draft here. No leaks. So yeah, we will have the draft coming up here in a bit. And joining me is the GM, co-GM of the Lidditz Twisters, who are soon to be renamed to the Arizona Cacti, correct?
Correct.
So you guys had some big picks early on here in this draft, and let me make sure I'm sharing my screen.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, it's probably still in the awards, so let me redo it here to the draft screen so you can see that.
Got it? Mm-hmm.
All right. So the Twisters will have the first pick on the draft. If you'd like to announce it, you definitely can. I just got a few intro slides here, and we can go from there.
Let's get this.
All right. So welcome everyone to the S16 Scfsl Draft. I'll throw it up on the screen right now so you guys can all see it. A lot of great players. We've got a solid 4 rounds of picks here. First 3 rounds have a lot of solid players in them. Looking forward to seeing how the teams rebuild and you know try to continue their playoff success, championship success, and also who will you know be coming up through the ranks. A lot of teams have been building for the last couple of seasons. Maybe a few more pieces is all they need to take them over the edge. So just some notes here. Actually, I'm gonna ping the rookies here. Where's my rookie chat? There it is. All right. Yeah, a lot of people going on in this draft. Pretty good size draft class. I'm really happy to see it, and the S17 one, which will be happening here in a week or so, 6 days or so, is also looking like a pretty good size class. So anyway, let's get into it. So first up, we have the Twisters, now Cacti. Picking first overall, would you like to announce the picks, Trini?
Let's get.
Oh, and then I lost you. All right. Yeah, the problem is though with the timing of recruiting, that people won't be entered in the Dev League draft after tomorrow.
My Discord crashed.
All right, you're back. So anyway, you want to announce your pick here? Oh,
Yeah, let's go.
I panned
With the
through it too.
well, for the first overall pick, the Twisters select Ivan Tinkle. We 3R.
Yes, wide receiver Ivana Tinkle, Jer 1983, who's got some history with the league. has been a former Twister for a few seasons and finds his way back in Lidditz only to get shipped over to Arizona. But weren't the Twisters weren't they the Arizona Coyotes
Yeah,
before?
they
Like,
were.
okay, so it's like same location, previous same Tampa Bay Coyotes. That's a stupid name. So they're like, all right, I guess never mind. I thought they were Arizona. All right, so going second overall, we have the Denver Dragons, a team that's been rebuilding for a few seasons, but has also been bleeding players. So interested to see what direction they take over the next few seasons. Dragons are going to select a defensive back, Charles Chapperson, user Chappie. Um, great, great user there, I believe, in ISFL as well. Been a huge part of the Dev League locker room in the Narwhals there, and getting picked up second overall. Third overall, Toronto Rush, who just missed out on the playoffs last season, looking to build back in a big way. They are going to select linebacker Mango P, user Jason, hopefully. Been really, really happy with the, um, I guess, locker room presence I've seen from Mango P, and server presence super, super positive. And I think this is a great pickup at third overall for the Toronto Rush as they look to complement their strong offense with their defense. Great player, great active user. I like this pick a lot at third overall for Toronto. Fourth overall, we have the Las Vegas Venom. Now, the Venom have a ton of first round picks here. So, fourth overall, Venom are going to select a linebacker. So, we see another linebacker in back to back picks. Hitman Andrews, AVH 89. Uh, Hitman Andrews has been in the, I believe, is in the Dev League draft last season. Played great for the uh, Dev League champion uh, Omaha Vipers, and is now going to the Las Vegas Venom, trying to bring them some hardware as well. So, great pickup by the Venom, but don't go too far because we have another Vegas pick. Fifth overall, Las Vegas Venom are going to select another linebacker. So, three linebackers in a row here. JQ Jr., user Opera Phantom. I love Opera Phantom. He is on my PBE team, and he was a great wide receiver for the Las Vegas Venom in JQ Senior, I guess. Boo, Cody. But JQ Jr. going to the Las Vegas Venom here. Um, yeah, Opera Phantom, such a great user. Sixth overall, we have the Madagascar Hammerheads on the clock, and they are going to select defensive lineman Bandit Healer Zabergs. Now, Bandit Healer was a great user in the Memphis Kings. So I don't know. They like to replace like the first letter, so I don't know if they're gonna say Wandit Wheeler or just Wheeler or how they're gonna do it. You know, because they like to say, Win. I don't know what they do. They do the thing. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, Wandit. You know what I mean. If you know, you know. So great pickup by the Madagascar Hammerheads, getting Bandit Healer. Love this pick at 6 overall. 7th overall, we have the Fort Lauderdale Flamingos selecting a linebacker. So a lot of defense here in this first round has definitely been a trend over the last couple seasons, 2 or 3 seasons. Linebacker for the Flamingos will be Gravlax Smokefish. User Dreamsloth. Love this pickup here for the Mingos. Smokefish was also a linebacker like fellow teammate JQ Jr. on that um, Omaha Viper squad. Big pickup here uh, by the Mingos at 7 overall. 8 overall, back to the Venom. So third first round pick for the Las Vegas Venom. They're going to select a linebacker again. Oh wait, no, this should be running back. My bad. I just copy pasted too fast. I got the name right. It's actually a running back. Bring back Unconfazane Bitzer, user Zane, who was a running back on the Memphis Kings squad. If for those who don't know, Zane's previous player was Frost Sucks. Great pickup here by the Venom. And yeah, no, this is actually a running back, not a linebacker. But if everyone's a running back, then if everyone's a linebacker, then no one's a linebacker, right? So that's 8 overall to the Venom. So now we go to Mexico City. We have the Silver Eagles on the clock, 9th overall. So the Mexico City Silver Eagles are going to select running back. I got this one right. Scurvy Steve of the Barcelona Nightmares. Great pickup here by the Mexico City Silver Eagles. They drafted a running back earlier in last season's draft, but I guess they're going with another running back. And Scurvy Steve here hails from Barcelona and will be a great addition for this Mexico City Silver Eagles squad. 10th overall, Vancouver Victorious Lion, defending champion of the last 5 seasons in a row, on the clock, and they are going to select a wide receiver here. So what's interesting is they picked like 3 wide receivers last draft, and they're going to start out with a wide receiver in this draft. Victoria Kensel, user DG. I'm assuming this is a user-based pick because, for those who don't know, DG has been in super casual for a very long time, and also in a lot of other sim leagues for a very long time. Great user here, finding a home in Vancouver. Some of you might remember his previous name as William Slayton. So our last pick of the first round, and we have an 11th overall pick because this is actually a Hollywood night pick. So it turns into a comp pick here at the end of the first round. Las Vegas Venom are going to select a linebacker. I think this is actually a linebacker. Mert C, user Mooney, whose previous player was on the Venom as well. Cosmo Strand Fury, retired in S15, coming back in S16 as a linebacker in Mert C. Love the username, or love the player name. Great pickup here by the Las Vegas Venom. And just a reminder, as we conclude the first round, I'm guessing the Venom have like everyone already in their locker room because a lot of them were on the Venom in their previous team. But you guys can, GMs can all invite players to the locker room as they are announced on the screen here, not in advance. So that concludes our first round. Just a quick recap of the first round. Lidis getting Ivana Tinkle, Charles Chapperson going to the Denver Dragons. Mango P, love that pickup for the Toronto Rush. Venom with back-to-back picks going back-to-back linebackers. Hitman Andrews, JQ Jr., Madagascar getting Wandit Healer. And then Fort Lauderdale Flamingos, Gravlax Smokefish, another linebacker. So we got a lot of defensive players in this first round. But then we go back-to-back running backs here. I don't know why it says Lidis. That should say LVV. Las Vegas Venom getting a running back here. Bring back Unconfazane Beitzer. Mexico City picking up Scurvy Steve. And Victoria Kensel, wide receiver, going to the Victorious Lions. Mert C rounding out the first round with the Venom pickup. We'll move on to our second round. So, Citreni, you still with me here?
Yep.
All right. So, if you want to announce the second round selection for you guys, you definitely can.
With the 12th overall pick, the Twisters select Jeremy Krause, QB.
Quarterback Jeremy Krause, yes. So this is a GM selection. Jeremy Krause has moved on from GMing the Akururi Normals to GMing the Lidis Twisters, or now the Arizona Cacti. We're just going to say that each and every time, just so it's clear. Just didn't have the graphics. Well, I did, but I didn't want to put them in. That's basically it. So Krause, Jeremy Krause, getting picked up here, 12th overall. Now, imagine this. We have another Venom pick. So the Las Vegas Venom have like 5 or 6 picks in the first 13 picks. So 13 overall. Yeah, we don't have any HO picks in this draft actually. So the Venom select 13th overall wide receiver, Silky Johnson, user the Rev. I love this name. I think the Rev was Greg Gase the fifth, maybe one of the Greg Gases. I remember one of the great some of the gases kind of blur together. But yeah, Silky Johnson, user of the Rev. Um, Look, I just like the user. I just like the player name. I mean, that's a good name, Silky Johnson. It just sounds like a smooth name. So, 13th overall pick. Venom going with a heavy defense in the first few picks or so, but getting a running back and then now a wide receiver. Toronto Rush back on the clock. They had Mango P with their first pick. This time, Toronto Rush are going to select defensive back Daryl Bullock, user C to future. I know the Seed of Futures had a player in the league before. I can't think of the name right now. Um, but Daryl Bullock for the Toronto Rush, as the Toronto Rush are slowly but surely building up a stout defense. There we go, Skylar Hawkins. Yep, thank you. So look very good draft so far for Toronto. 15th overall, Strenny, you want to throw this one out there as well?
Let's get it.
All right.
With the 15 overall, the Sixers select Chet Branson, OL.
Yes, Chet Branson, user Tater Hater, the owner of the Twisters, getting picked here, 15th overall. I think the Twisters had 2 second-round picks, picking up owner and GM here. You can boot Tater. Yeah, I think that's fine. So, second round, we are halfway through it. Tater Hater coming off the board to going back home. 16 overall, we'll go back to Madagascar. They had Wandit Healer last time. See who they're going to select this time. They're going to go wide receiver. Oh, does it? Oh, that still says round 1. It should say round 2. Oh, you guys get what you pay for. So, wide receiver, Mr. Happy. I think I saw Cody in the chat earlier. So, interesting pickup. Not sure if he's going to swap positions or play somewhere else because the Hammerheads have a trio of excellent wide receivers already. Maybe they're just going to spread the field out a little bit more and take like the Venom strategy. Mr. Happy, though, great user in Cody. Great player for that Las Vegas, or not Las Vegas, sorry, the Omaha Vipers, other snake team. And this is a great pickup for the Hammerheads. Round 2, 17 overall. Fort Lauderdale Flamingos back on the clock. They selected Gravlax Smokefish with their first round selection. Second round is going to be offensive lineman Walla Bricks C. Weber. This is another GM pickup. Walla Bricks, been a long time user in the league and is going to the Flamingos here at 17 overall, trying to shore up the offensive line. 18th overall, the Denver Dragons back on the clock. They have not had a selection since second overall, so a pretty big gap in picks here. They are going to select a defensive back themselves. More defensive players here. Going. And this defensive back is the name Dennis Multoid Man. User Dissolve. And I'll just announce right now that Dissolve is going to be the Denver Dragons' new GM here. So, congratulations to Dennis Multoid Man and the Denver Dragons. So now we have the Roswell Aliens on the clock. This is their first selection of this S16 draft. They are picking 19th overall. They are going to select quarterback. All right. Pastrami Grimes. And everything comes around full circle. Anton Grimes, for the last few seasons, was a solid quarterback for the Roswell Aliens. Second iteration of Grimes going back to Roswell. Pastrami Grimes. Rain but done. Been in the league for a while. Going to Roswell. Surprise. Yep. 20th overall, the Mexico City Silver Eagles on the clock, and they are going to select a quarterback themselves. Interesting. Is Soffins done for? I don't know. Quarterback Richard Nixon, good old Tricky Dick, 4D Chess. my multi. So getting it selected here, 20th overall. Ulysses S. Grant was 40 Chess's previous player, did retire, was a Silver Eagle receiver, was also a Denver Dragon, I believe. And yeah, now back to Mexico City. So we'll recap of the second round here. Kraus, quarterback, going to the Twisters. Silky Johnson, love that name, going to the Venom. Daryl Bullock, recreate there, going to the Toronto Rush. Chet Branson, offensive line for the Lidditz Twisters. Mr. Happy, wide receiver for the Madagascar Hammerheads now. Great pickup. Fort Lauderdale Flamingos going with Wall of Bricks, offensive lineman. And then we have Dennis Multidman for the Denver Dragons. Roswell Aliens picking up Pastrami Grimes, one Grimes into another, and then Mexico City Silver Eagles grabbing Richard Nixon. That is your second round. Let's move on to the third round. So we have, I believe, no Citrani here. So anyway, let's go into the third round. 21 overall. We're just a little over halfway through this draft. Twister select. Defensive back. Pizza Faith. Pizza Faith was on the Memphis Kings. Was a solid user. Great pickup, I think, here in the third round at 21 overall. So nicely done by the Twisters. Now Arizona Cacti. So congratulations. Round 3, 22 overall. The Denver Dragons are on the clock. They're going to select a kicker. So this is the first and I believe the only kicker in this draft. And it's Graf Ulrich, Rob Hammy, getting picked up here by the Denver Dragons, who had some kicking woes last season. Getting it done this season with Rob Hammy, player name Graf Ulrich. 23 overall, the Toronto Rush are going to select defensive back. So they've gone 3 defensive players here in this draft. Toronto going with Daniel Kim. Great pickup here for Toronto, seeing Daniel Kim very active in the main server. And I think this is a solid selection for this Toronto Rush squad, as they have gone 3 defensive players, a linebacker, and a couple DBs. That Toronto Rush team will be pretty good this season, I think, and maybe even better next season, as long as they can keep their offense lively. 24th overall, we have the Lidditz Twisters, a.k.a. Arizona Cacti now, going to select a linebacker, so they're going defense as well. Millie Willer, I love this pickup. So surprised that he fell this far. Gordon Bombay, excellent user over in the PBE, if you did not know. I believe was the head of the rookie mentors for a while. Maybe still is. I haven't been keeping track. So this is arguably one of the steals of the draft here. Great pickup by the Twisters in getting Gordon Bombay. Denver Dragons now on the clock at 25 overall. They're going to select a wide receiver. T.I. Hill, BDC World, and I think I saw Hill in the chat here, so congratulations, BDC. You are going to Denver. Great pickup. I believe Ty Hill was a Barcelona Nightmare, or no, Aquarian Narwhal, so good pickup by BDC, or by Denver to get BDC. 26 overall. Roswell Aliens on the clock. Last pick they had Grimes. This pick they're going to select a linebacker. So again, you see a big theme of defense here. Pat McGroin. This I know was a Barcelona Nightmare. Mike Whiskey, the user, who's I think been a pretty solid user. Just hadn't seen as much from Mike Whiskey lately, but a great selection here by the Roswell Aliens. The Aliens always find a way to get sneaky good defensive players in these later rounds, and so yeah, McGroin now a Roswell Aliens. 27th overall, back to Denver. So we see a lot of same teams picking here. Dragons are selecting a tight end. Was this the only tight end taken in the draft? Maybe. It might have been. Um, they signed the tight end Bread and Rice, one of the later additions to this draft class as a waiver near the end of the S15 season. Bread and Rice, username Bread and Rice, going to Denver. So, yeah, Denver kind of retooling some of their younger players here, getting a tight end here near the end of the third round. 28th overall, Roswell back on the clock, and they're going to select a defensive lineman. So another defensive player here. Uh, Defensive lineman Big Daddy, user Avery. I haven't seen much from this user lately. Did at one time. So, yeah, Roswell trying to fill out their defensive staff here with the addition of Big Daddy at the 28th overall pick. Now we go to Madagascar here. And so, Hammerheads in their third round selection are going to select quarterback. So, who will it be? We only have, I think, two true quarterbacks available in this draft. We have Andrei Kovalenko and um, Vidal Satan. Sorry, I was going to say Vidal Valor. That wasn't right. Vidal Satan. So, two quarterbacks. Who will it be? And it's going to be Vidal Satan Valor, longtime super casual user. Previous player was Vidal Valor, who was on a few different teams, and then ended career in Vancouver with a couple Super Bowl casual bowl rings. But Vidal Satan going to Madagascar. Interesting though because they have quarterback in Ayomide Ayadel. Um, So we'll see what the Hammerheads have in store for the quarterback Vidal Satan. Round 3 recap. Lidditz getting Pizza Faith. Raph Ulrich, kicker, going to the Denver Dragons. Daniel Kim of the Toronto Rush going to, uh, yeah, I guess the Toronto Rush defensive back there. Millie Willer, great pickup at the 24th overall pick for the Twisters. Ty Hill, great pickup as well for the Denver Dragons. Roswell getting Pat McGroin at 26. Denver going with Bread and Rice, the tight end. Big Daddy falling to Roswell at 28. And then Vidal Satan rounding out our third round at the QB spot. So here's just a quick overview in case you missed any of our previous selections here. Just give me a second here. I'm gonna do some. Oh wait, I didn't. Oh man, that's the last season. I didn't update that. Wow, I didn't update that anyway. Thought I copied that over. Anyway, all right, we'll get on to our fourth round in a bit. Just give me a second here. I'm going to invite some people. Actually, you'd be surprised. It was kind of funny. There's a lot of like overlapping picks, where teams had the same exact picks or like same picks in this round in this draft as last draft. Like I think like the Fort Lauderdale Flamingos picked in the same exact spot in the first and second round this draft as they did in the last draft. And even got like, and there are people that got like the same exact position players and stuff. It was very interesting. It was very interesting. Um, We will get the fourth round and final round going here in a bit. All right. Lidditz Twisters, aka the Arizona Cacti, picking here at 30th overall. They're going to select defensive lineman Gator Solace, user just there, who I think is just in the Narwhals server, but there he is, Gator Solace getting picked up with the first pick of the fourth round. Going to the 31st overall pick here, Denver on the clock with another pick. They're going to pick up running back Walter White, another Narwhal, I believe. User Zaf, so congratulations to Walter White getting picked up by the Denver Dragons. 32 overall, Toronto Rush, selecting linebacker. So this is their fourth defensive player they've taken. Jaden Strickland, user Boat. Don't know much about this player, but was one of our later pickups in the season last season. So congratulations to the Toronto Rush and Jaden Strickland. And then we have the Reykjavik Frost Giants with the only selection they made this entire draft. And they are going to select quarterback Andrei Kovalenko. Super surprised Kovalenko fell this far. I think this is a great pickup for the Frost Giants. I'm just really confused why they made it, because everyone says that Jerry Riggs is a MVP player, but then they get a quarterback. So, and all right, whatever. Yeah, the Frost Giants have given up a lot of draft stock. Yep, or been penalized. So anyway, uh, 34th overall, the Lidditz Twisters, Arizona Cacti now, are going to select linebacker Ignatius Riley, user YesBoom, I think is hanging out in the Memphis Kings locker room, last I saw, maybe. So Twisters trying to round out that defense as well. They've added some great pieces there this draft. So now we move on to the Vancouver Victorious Lions at 35 overall, and they select a linebacker, Bartholomew Kuma, user that boy tidy. So getting a linebacker here, uh, here in the middle of the fourth round. Victorious Lions select in back-to-back picks here, wide receiver, who I think was in the chat here, right? Booty Boy user Majins, right? That was a Barcelona Nightmare, and I think Majins was in the chat just a little bit ago, about 8-10 minutes ago. So, sorry if we missed you, but there you go, Majins getting picked up 36 overall by the five-time defending champions. 37th overall, back to the Lidditz Twisters, and they're going to select a wide receiver themselves. Let's see another Memphis King, user named Deadly Player, going to the Lidditz Twisters. I think Deadly Player still hanging around in the Memphis King server. 38 overall, Madagascar Hammerhead select defensive lineman John Gary. Haven't seen much from Gary in a while. So yeah. Final pick, I believe, of the draft, Mr. Irrelevant, Vancouver Victorious Lions, 39th overall, are going to select defensive lineman Jonathan Hughes. It's just Jonathan. It's just Jonathan. But getting picked up here at the end of the fourth round. That's going to conclude our draft. So we'll go by the teams here. Roswell Aliens getting Pastrami Grimes, Pat McGroin, and Big Daddy. Some solid pickups in the later picks. Roswell proving you don't necessarily need a first rounder to get solid users. Madagascar Hammerheads getting Bandit Healer, Mr. Happy, and Vidal Satan. A solid draft for them as well. Mexico City, only 2 picks, but making the most out of them. Scurvy Steve, running back, and Richard Nixon, quarterback. Denver Dragons getting a lot of picks here in the mid-later rounds. Charles Chaperson with their second overall pick. Multoid Man, the second round. Back-to-back DBs. Raph Ulrich, a kicker. Ty Hill, the wide receiver. Braden Rice, the tight end. And Walter White, running back. Fort Lauderdale with a couple of picks here, shoring up the offensive line and adding Gravlax Smokefish to the linebacker. Frost Giants making only one selection here and see what the future awaits for Andrei Kovalenko and the Frost Giants organization. He goes in the third round. Vancouver Victorious Lions, despite picking up 3 wide receivers in last draft, add 2 more wide receivers this draft, and then also pick up Kuma and Hughes in the fourth round. Toronto Rush going all defensive assault as they get Mango P in the first round. Third rounder is Daryl Bullock. Another third rounder is Daniel Kim. And fourth rounder, Jaden Strickland. Lidditz Twisters with a big draft. Ivana Tinkle, Jeremy Krause, Chet Branson, Piece of Faith, Millie Willer, Gator Salas, Ignatius Riley, and let's see. Hopefully that energizes the team here with all these fresh users because they had a couple good ones last season. Hopefully they'll add even more to the mix. So great pickups for the Lidditz Twisters in this draft. And then the Las Vegas Venom just trading up and trading in and getting their guys. Hitman Andrews, JQ Jr., bring back Unconfa Zane Beitzer, Mert C, and Silky Smooth Johnson. They say about me. And yeah, that's basically the draft here. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in. We are just over the hour and 11 mark, so if you guys haven't done so, invite your draftees to your locker rooms, get them under contract because next week is preseason. We are starting preseason on Wednesday, so that gives you guys some time to get the new players integrated to your depth chart, get the strategies and game plans all set up, and yeah, get ready for the new season, which is only going to be, I guess, what, a week and a half away. So it's coming up quick. Regular season kickoff is going to be on October 10th. So 10 days away. Get everyone into your squad, and hopefully everyone has a great season here. I'll be looking forward to watching and streaming a majority of the games again. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in tonight, and I will catch you all preseason next Wednesday.